What's going on, guys? I'm back with a brand new suggestion box review for you guys. I just watched a mini documentary, we can call it that, called Derren Brown Sacrifice. Starring Derren Brown, of course, John Pistone, and Megan Afonso. First of all, you already know what time it is. I'm about to give the huge shout out to the one, the only, Cheryl Burton. All right? Much respect. Keep bringing them. Keep bringing the suggestions. All right? First of all, again, this movie, or due to this movie having a lot to do with, I'd say, a slight use of manipulation, I have to get into this topic of movie manipulators. Now, this is not going to be really in any kind of order this time. It's a little all over the place because there are so many manipulators in the movie world. All right, so it wasn't easy conjuring this up. Or really, it was easy, but I didn't know how to go about this. All right, so this is how I'm coming at it. The first movie manipulator I'm going to talk about is V from V for Vendetta. All right, this guy wasn't a manipulator off the back. It kind of progressed into that, because he wanted to. He had a point to prove. He had a message to get out there, or prove to a certain someone in the movie. If you haven't seen this, I'm not going to say too much, but the trials and tribulations he makes this certain someone go through. I'm not even going to say what happens. Okay, just it's borderline insane, and it will break the mind if this really occurred. Okay, this would really occur to somebody, this would tear them apart. They might even make it past this whole trial he's putting them through. Okay, watch the movie. Okay. Then we have Jigsaw from Saw. This is a very obvious manipulator. All right. Throughout his whole series, this sicko has been putting his victims through all kinds of mazes and challenges and traps that no sane person would make it out of. All right, and it's a whole new level to manipulation to make you think either you don't have a chance of living, or you have a really big chance of living a normal life escaping these traps. Anybody who escapes these traps, they're not normal after this. They lose an appendage, one of their five senses is gone. Something is lost after escaping these traps. All right? It's not normal at all. So he's on a whole nother level of manipulation with his own zone. All right? Then we have Catherine from Cruel Intentions. Yes, I really love this movie. It's a classic. It's a classic in my book. And honestly, both the main guy, Sebastian, and Catherine are manipulators. But in this case, Catherine is paired as the bad guy here. So we're going to say she's the manipulator in this movie. And she really is. She has everyone under her thumb. Even Sebastian, even though he has some manipulation power himself, she has him under her thumb. She plays with his love life, plays with his mind, makes him think that he really wants to be like this, the way that he is. It's really sick. It has him thinking that he is the one to control. But the whole time she was playing him like a puppet, which is why I'm so hyped up about the end of the movie. I love the little get back that he planned. Watch that movie if you haven't seen it. Please see that movie. Very good movie, okay? Another master manipulator. Hannibal Lecter in all movies he's been in. All right? Since day one. This sicko speaks with such a presence or an aura that nothing is wrong. Nothing he does is wrong. Or it's so right within his mind that when he speaks to other people, he makes them feel like, maybe he's not a bad guy. He's just misunderstood. And no. He's horrible. He's a horrible person. He's a horrible person. All right. He even convinces one guy to let pigs tear his face off, and the guy still just praises Hannibal. He still praised him to his last breath. All right, I don't know what else was going on with that little relationship, but yeah, he really praised Hannibal like he was some sort of god. All right, even after that, that's true dedication. That's more dedication than you should have for anybody. All right. Another master manipulator, Alonzo Harris from Training Day. This is a great movie as well. This is one of the other iconic films in my book. And of course, it involves a manipulator of all sorts of the hood, pretty much. He's an undercover cop, crooked as hell. All right, he's been doing this for years. All right, he has everybody in the hood shook. Because he got down to their level, bent the rules a little bit, so everyone they know him like he's family in that hood area. They know him like he's family. Then when he did that, he started kind of shaking them down and kind of punking them. All right, it was kind of just a crazy move on his part to do, but it's worked for him for so many years. And then you get this new guy on the force that you're supposed to be, going on a ride along with, and you just end up manipulating this new guy into some stuff he has no idea he's getting himself into. All right, and watching that whole process go through was crazy. Just the look on Alonzo's face as he knew what he was doing to this cop the entire time. He was corrupting him. Just for that. Corrupting him just so in the end he could use him to save his own butt. I'm not going any further into that. If you haven't seen the movie right now, why haven't you seen this movie? Okay? Watch Training Day. This guy is one of the top master manipulators under Jigsaw. Another one. Joker. In anything he's been in. Comic books, movies, shows. Whatever Joker is in, he's always manipulating someone with a smile on his face the entire time. And the main culprit he manipulates is his own partner. His own supposed love, all right? Harley Quinn. He plays her like a fiddle every time. It's been years, and he's been playing her since the 90s, all right? She just recently, not too recent, broke the bond, the chains between him, and she still probably thinks about this psycho, all right? She still has this man on her mind. Because he played that game of she's no better than him. She's filth compared to him. He keeps making her think that he really cares about her, but he doesn't. And he puts her in dangerous way every time so he can save his own ass. All right. And she keeps falling for it over and over and over again. It's like a psychotic little game they play almost. Last contender, Melisandre from Game of Thrones. Yeah, I kind of threw that as a bonus in there. All right, she really was doing some manipulation. She wasn't manipulating all the way because she really knew how to throw that magic in there. But she kind of used the magic also as a weapon of hers, just to do more manipulation. It's sick. It's really scary and sick how she did things. She congested a baby out of evil, a spirit demon baby, I guess, and had it wouldn't labor and everything right in front of this guy, and he wasn't having it. The no hand, whatever his name was, no fingers, he wasn't having it. But Stannis got played all the way through to the bone. He got played to the bone. The entire time, Stannis was just, his nose was so open over Melisandre. By the time he realized that he was being played, it was too damn late. All right. He already sacrificed too many things that he couldn't take back. It was too late for him. All right. So she is going on that list of top manipulators in movies and films and shows. The list will continue. The list will continue. I make promises now. All right. And now we have Derren Brown. My question is, will he be as great as a manipulator as these others? We're about to find out. Let's go. Derren Brown, Sacrifice. For those who don't know, for those who are not aware, unless you have Netflix, I really don't blame you for not knowing what the hell's going on. All right? You're probably like, what is this? I don't know what the hell this is. Yeah, if you don't have Netflix, you don't know about this show, the movies he's got out. I'll explain that later. But you don't have no idea who Derren Brown is. He's a real illusionist or I'll say he's a real manipulator, or like that. Okay, he's professional at playing games with people's heads. Okay, and he now has his own movie. Enough explanation. Let's get to the movie. Derren Brown, Sacrifice. Pretty much about this manipulator, call him, who decided to conduct an experiment on a guy named Phil, who has his views about immigrants and immigration. And he's kind of stuck in his ways as far as how he sees them coming into his country. He claims he's not racist, blah, 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 stuff like that. And so Derren Brown decides he's going to tell him, he's putting a chip in the back of his neck that's going to kind of, play with his head a little bit here and there. It's going to persuade him into maybe thinking different later on in another way. And he's connected to an app and everything. But he's just telling him this. Really, he's using a psychosis on him. He's doing a hypnotic spell on his ass. All right. And in the end, he has to see what choice he will make when put to the test against his own beliefs. And that's the premise of the movie. All right. Positives. This was so surreal. I was told originally that this was a real documentary, but the whole premise to this is so insane that it was hard believing that while watching this. I almost forgot. I was like, hold on, is this supposed to be real or not? Now that can hurt it and not hurt it, but I think in this case it kind of made it a little more interesting that it had that element to it of I don't know what's really going on. I honestly watched this the first time thinking that it was a mockumentary, if you want to be honest. I forgot I was told that it was real. So it's that crazy. It is that crazy. But I kind of liked that. This was so insane. All right. Second positive. The host is definitely a master manipulator. All right. And now that I'm realizing this is supposed to be real, it makes it even crazier of how manipulative he is. You are telling this man that you're putting a chip in his neck. And I'll get to that. I have a problem with that. I'll get to that a little later on too. But you're telling this man you're going to put a chip in his neck, right? But really you're just hypnotizing him and playing with his mind and putting him under a trance with a certain sound and stuff like that. When a certain sound comes on, he's implanted in his head. When that sound comes on, his whole personality is supposed to change. And it does at certain eras, certain points of the movie. When he's about to jump, turns the sound on, it kind of makes him go a little further. All right, like he really wants to do it now, when the original him would not have this feeling. That's going to play for a role a little later on in the movie. Not going to say too much on that one, but that's just a taste of how this guy played the manipulation game with this guy. It almost feels illegal. Like, it doesn't feel right that you lied to this man. Yo, that's crazy. You lied to this man and told him that you put a chip in his neck. That's when you find out you didn't do it. What would you do about that? Even though you did agree to getting a chip in your neck, supposedly. And there's also a part where he made this man think his arm was dead. And then he put a needle through the top of his skin. And the man said, I did not feel any of that. What the hell? What the ever living hell? All right. No, you had to feel some of that. It's so insane that this man really had this guy's name is Phil. He really had Phil going. Another positive. This movie, or mini documentary, as we call it, it really zeroed in on a touchy subject about immigration. All right. And it kind of reminds me of a actual mockumentary from a long time ago that I also did a review on, called Savage Land. All right. Where they also were blaming this zombie problem. Well, not also, but they were blaming a zombie problem on immigrants. This is what immigrants are doing this, but it really was zombies the whole time and all this. It's not a spoiler. I explained that in the review, but it just was so similar to this, but minus the zombies. And it's crazy that a lot of people still have an issue with this, the immigration. I'm not going to get too deep into that. I'm not a political channel, but I'm just saying, I understand the deepness. I understand why some people have an issue. I understand why some people don't have an issue with this. Okay? It's really touchy. It's really touchy. And this one guy felt strongly about how immigrants come to the country and all this crime is going down, and he's just not with it. All right? And he wishes that they just get out of my country. All right? They're taking our jobs. Like the guy in South Park. All right, and so that was interesting to hear from his point of view, even though there's some issues I have with that. We'll get into that later on. Last positive. I was originally going to say this should be a series, but when I did more research, this guy has at least 3 other shows and then 2 other movies out. So he's definitely making his rounds. I think they're all on Netflix. I had no idea this guy existed until I got into the Netflix thing. I had no idea this is a thing. All right, so I'm gonna probably watch the other ones too. Whether this is good or bad, I haven't said that yet. All right, but I just want to see what else is in store besides this. I need more proof of something I need to prove to myself about this whole experience. Obviously. Negatives. Phil's views were way too easily swayed. This guy came in believing what he believed in. All right, about immigrants and them being in his country, and it being a threat to his family. He has a family to raise, he has a wife and kids, and so on and so on. And he felt really strongly about that. Somewhat. Well, that's another problem that I'll get into. He felt semi-strong about it, but then later on, not even later on, it just almost immediately, there's a part where he's looking into this other guy's eyes for a long time, and he broke down crying, and I guess because the guy is of another color, or I have no idea why he did that. I don't know why he cried. I don't know why he got so emotional about that. What? It doesn't seem like somebody of his personality would do that. Speaking of personality changes, Phil agreed to that chip in his neck way too quick. No, him agreeing to that at all. The kind of guy he is, he doesn't seem like he wants anything put in his body that he's not too savvy on. All right, or anything. I felt like he was the kind of guy that didn't want the government messing with his body and all this stuff. Or he's very questionable of government activities and stuff like this. So why would you want a chip in your neck, man? I wouldn't want a chip in my neck, but I'm not you, so I can't speak for you, of course. But at the same time, it's not believable that he would agree to this. He agreed to this right away. Right away. There was no fight, no kickback, nothing. There was no, I don't know about this. Give me a night to think. No, that man immediately agreed to that. Immediately. It didn't seem right at all. Something was off about that part. The man had no kind of push on whether he should do this or not. No kind of somebody, talking to his family, anything like that. Nothing. I don't believe it. Third negative. This guy was put in a scenario for his last test where he bumped into some bikers, and the bikers are supposed to be showing their, how they feel and how bikers do. And they have their beliefs, and, against other races and whatnot. A lot of bikers do that. It's nothing new. And because he was so cordial with them, and they took a liking to him, the main biker gave him a leather jacket. Okay, a biker jacket. This would never happen. And I know at that part they were supposed to be actors tricking him, but if you're going to be actors, do a little better than acting. All right, the bikers would not give their jacket to a stranger. I don't care how much they like this man. In one day, you like him so much you gave him your jacket. I'm not having that. I'm not having that. That's bull. That's crap. That's bull crap. All right, let's put those words together. That's not realistic. There's no way a biker's doing this. I know I've never been a biker. I know some bikers. I've met bikers in real life. All right, I get around. I'm 41 years old. I've heard stories in here and there. No, they wouldn't do this. They wouldn't do this. Not a chance. Last negative. Phil's reaction at the end, after everything is said and done. I'm not going to say how that ends out, but I just didn't believe it. After you realize what you've just been, exposed to, what you've just been brought through, your reaction should not be that. It should not be what he did. All right, I would not react like that. And I'm not him. Once again, no. A lot of people would not react like that. They'd have serious issues about what just took place. What just happened to them. That's why I'm having a hard time believing this is real. All right? I really am. And his family his family at the end, can't say too much. For that, I'm giving this an cool. All right? You press that like button, share, and you better subscribe.